It's not to detract someone's death, but being a celebrity, I feel like this is a little bit easier to talk about. But it is still a massive bummer. Philip Seymour Hoffman passed away this past week with a needle in his arm.
Heroin.
Now, the thing is I believe this is a guy who, and I don't watch a lot of movies. I don't watch a lot of films. But Philip Seymour Hoffman has been an actor that I've followed since probably the mid to late 90s, and I've seen a lot of the things he's been in. Not all of them, but I did make a point of trying to see almost as many films of his as I could.
Sure.
Followed him online, thought he was an affable guy, read his interviews. This is a guy who I believe, I could be wrong, I'm pulling this from my head, but I seem to believe it, was a guy who once drank a lot, stopped drinking.
He did.
And as far as I know, never had another drink after that point. Went years. Took up a small recreational opiate use and checked himself in, you know?
Yeah, we discussed this like about a week.
Yeah, well, no, we discussed this the night before he passed away.
And I don't know how we even brought it up, but we
because
did.
you and I think her name is private. You and your lady friend had stopped over to my place, and we were sitting around chatting. And I think we were talking about a movie that we had seen. I think I brought up the Hunger Games because he was in the Hunger Games. The second
one of the bigger guys in the Hunger Games.
Plutarch, and you know, this is something that I don't know a lot about. Vonnie likes, but we went, and when I saw he was in the movie, I fucking marked out. You know, so. Anyways, we're talking about this the day before about how he had a heroin opiate problem, and before it had really hit news, basically before anyone could make tabloid headlines out of it, he just checked himself in. He was like, I have a problem.
It was like 4 months ago.
Yeah, and I need to go in. He went through a program, came out, relapsed, the needle was hot, and it killed him. And
yeah, he was, I mean, arguably the greatest actor of his generation. He was 46. If you want to throw Daniel Day-Lewis in there, who's about 10 years older, but I mean, he's in the top 5 easily.
He was a phenomenal character actor. My favorite thing he ever did was when he was Capote, and it's because it's my favorite actor playing my favorite author.
I got to see that. I never actually saw that.
It's fantastic.
That's what I won the Oscar for.
He does really good. He does really good characters. There's a very little known movie he did. It was an indie film. I saw it with a buddy at a tiny little indie house in Buffalo. It was called Owning Mahoney, and it was based on the true story of a guy who basically gambled his life away from Toronto. And you know, gambling not really my thing. Don't care about it. Like, didn't seem like it'd be an interesting movie, but because of the way he portrayed the character, it was fantastic. His turns in I own the DVD. Jesus, is it 25th Hour? Yeah, 25th Hour.
Oh, he was in that?
20. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's fantastic.
I'll bring up his IMDb.
Yeah, he was. I mean, and then he did. I mean, like he was just this guy who had finally gotten to the point where his appearance in something like Mission Impossible 3 or The Hunger Games suddenly gave it just that step above normal blockbuster bullshit status.
And you wanted to see it because
and
he was great in Mission Impossible 3. It was fantastic.
And he was great in the Hunger Games.
In a throwaway villain role, Mission Impossible 3, anyone could have played. He was menacing, and he
can act
scary.
his ass off. He in real life he came across as like one of the friendliest guys you'd ever meet.
And from people, someone Opie and Anthony's show that I listened to, Opie, who one of the hosts, used to see him around and hung out with him. Jim Norton, who was a comedian, went to Thanksgiving at Louis C.K.'s house. And Philip Seymour Hoffman was there. He said, "Yeah, he was just the nicest guy. He wasn't pretentious. He would talk to you like anyone else."
Yeah, and
you know,
he did, but he could do any role so well. He could do asshole. He could do good guy. He could do everyone. And you know, I'm forgetting even some of the roles that people seem to like him best for. His turn as Lester Bangs in Almost Famous. His character in Boogie Nights. His in fucking Big Lebowski.
Grant in the Big Lebowski. He takes I think he's in like 3 scenes of the movie at most, and he makes him so great. That's also, you know, due to the directors who are great, but I mean, he just took those small roles and made him as important as he was on the screen at one time. You just wanted to watch him.
So here's the thing about a good actor: 46, you're a baby.
Yeah.
You know, and not to like touch back on things we were talking about, but him being gone at 46, we're robbed of, I mean, how many years worth of, you know, decent performances. So
yeah, we were robbed. You're right.
So you're robbed of all these future performances he could do, and it's gonna be hard. Like, you know, Hunger Games 3 comes out or whatever it's called, and Vonnie's gonna want to go see it. Apparently they didn't film those all. I checked.
No,
so So
third one's got to be recast.
who the fuck are they gonna have to fill? I mean, it's ridiculous. So I don't know. With
let's see what I'm gonna go back. Other movies. I haven't seen. He was great in Magnolia. I haven't seen Magnolia in probably 12 years, but I know that was a great movie and he was good in it. Talented Mr. Ripley.
Did you ever see Love, Liza?
No, I didn't see that one.
You've never seen. If you want to feel like shit for an hour and a half,
that sounds great.
Well, it's one of the most depressing movies I've ever watched.
That's this podcast, by the way, but yeah.
It's him and his girlfriend dies, and he takes up a gas huffing addiction.
Oh, that sounds great. Jesus Christ!
But he acts it really, really well.
I'm sure he does.
It's ridiculous.
So Punch Drunk Love, he was the villain in that. He was great, fantastic in that. That's the only Adam Sandler movie I can watch.
That's what I've heard, but I still avoided it because of that.
Paul Thomas Anderson. Along Came Polly. He was the friend in that. You know, even a role like that, just the best friend.
Well, his minor roles, like that's the thing. Yeah. Like so many people do. Not to go back on it because it's not even one of my favorite roles of his, but so many people remember him as Lester Bangs in Almost Famous. And Lester Bangs was a real life famous music critic. And
Charlie Wilson's War.
His role was very small in that film.
Doubt, was he nominated for Doubt?
Oh yeah, my grandma loved that movie. My grandma loved Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Pirate Radio was supposed to be a pretty good movie. I never saw it, but that was supposed to be pretty good. Ides of March. So that was the political movie. Moneyball. He was and The Master was supposed to be. I need to see another Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I have to see.
I need to see The Master.
So I mean, he just picked good. I mean, he would do like Mission Impossible 3 every now and then. He'd do the Ben Stiller movie. He would do the Hunger Games, but he picked a lot. These are tough roles. These are not easy roles he's choosing here.
But he pulled them off amazingly. If you ever want to see someone completely transform their mannerisms, watch Capote, because he's not Philip Seymour Hoffman, but he is, and that's what makes it so great.
Well, according to this, I guess they were filming Hunger Games Mockingjay, so I don't know if they filmed a lot of him, or I don't know.
Well, hopefully. Anyways,
yeah,
you know, Druggies, fucking Christ, guys, look, I'm not going to get into a lot of things. There's a line, and heroin is definitely above the fucking line.
Yeah. Heroin's the type of thing where
someone online said it. I think it was Patton Oswalt, and he made a good point, and I laughed. It was sad, but it was a good point. But he said, if geniuses if artists, great artists like Joplin and Hendrix and Philip Seymour Hoffman can't handle heroin, here's a tip: you probably can't either. And it's like that's kind of like the number one. Yeah, don't touch it.
I don't think it's anything where someone's like, yeah, I got a recreational heroin habit. Yeah. I don't think you can say that. I don't think it's possible.
No.
It's the type of thing where heroin, you're hooked the first time. The first time you're hooked. And according to what I've heard, what I've looked at, within a month, the thrill is gone. 1 month. After that, it's just, you're doing it so you don't get sick.
Yeah.
Because your body's so used to it. And at that point, you're screwed.
Yeah.
Because withdrawal from that's like the worst freaking thing. You know what I mean? That's why they have, methadone clinics and things like that, because you can't just go cold turkey on heroin. It's the worst. It's the type of thing you ask even guys like Frank, marijuana, whatever.
I made a joke about Frank and I joke about marijuana all the time.
Even acid.
I made a joke. Frank and I joke about that shit all the time and talk about it all the time. I made one half-assed joke about heroin like 6 months ago, and Frank lost it. Woo! Frank lost it. And it wasn't even like a suggestive joke about even doing it. It was just like, that's just like fucking heroin. Frank's like, don't fuck around with that. I'm like, okay, Frank, sorry.
Yeah, that's coming from Frank. Yeah. Frank's like, don't do drugs. At least that drug.
Yeah, don't do that one drug. That one in particular. Don't fucking touch.
And so, it's the whole thing about being an artist. Like, Hemingway was
a piece
miserable.
Whatever.
And then, Edgar Allan Poe, and then all these brilliant artists, maybe you have to be tortured a little bit to be a great artist. That's what it comes down to. You have to be a little off in order to either pretend you're someone else or write other people. Maybe normal people can't really do that well. That's what it comes down to. That's what you find out. Just about everyone. There's very few of these guys that are brilliant. That look at Beethoven. He was screwed up, wasn't he? Mozart. All these guys were a little bit screwed up, at least. So.
Oh.
So no recreational heroin, boys and girls. That's not good. And they found it like 70 hit bags in his room too. So it's like, I had heard that he was pretty clean for a while, again, I heard from Opie and Anthony that he used to see him at a bar all the time drinking. I was just drinking. But supposedly, the reports are that he had been prescribed. He was clean for a long time, been prescribed painkillers, and that's what hooked him.
That's what got him on it. Yeah,
that's what happens.
He found a way that he could justify the high through a prescription, and then when that justifiable way went away, he moved on to the heroin.
Yeah, don't do drugs. Okay.